A fundamental concern for others in our individual and community lives would go a long way in making the world the better place we so passionately dream of. Sound words from Nelson Mandela, whose immeasurable toil we continue to be in awe of. This past week, we remembered the renowned leader, and I just wanted to remind you of one of his invaluable quotes. Hello and welcome to this edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm your host, Theodore Henry. Today's show promises to be a very informative one, but more when we return.
Hurricanes can be dangerous, catastrophic events, but we can lessen the damage if we are prepared. Keep up to date with the latest information from reliable sources such as the Meteorological Service and ODPEM. The power will probably go with the internet following, so a good old battery-operated radio is a must-have. Stock up on non-perishable food items and emergency items such as flashlights and extra batteries. Secure important documents. Have a pre-packed emergency bag with safety gear such as raincoats and water boots. Ensure windows are protected and roofing is secured. Have updated information on emergency shelters near you in case you need to evacuate during the storm. Preparation will lessen the devastation when dealing with a hurricane. Be prepared.
In this age of information, there is so much data that bombards us once we turn on our devices. And we too, with a simple touch or a click, can share information just like that. It is an amazing process that has taken us from waiting an enormous amount of time to get information to doing so in seconds. But what is that information that we are receiving and equally disseminating? How responsible are we when circulating it? Much like that friendly neighborhood hero, we should all understand that with great power comes great responsibility. DSP Warren Williams is here with us to speak on issues and legal consequences associated with the dissemination of fake news. Let's get the facts.
Welcome to Get the Facts, the program that gives you update on the latest topics. I'm Adrian Atkinson. From viral hoaxes to political propaganda, fake news is increasingly becoming the order of the day. But how do you identify this and stay in the lane of truth? Well, we are about to delve deep into the dangers and consequences of misinformation, as well as how to identify when news is fake. Joining me now is DSP Warren Williams, Deputy Head of the Communication Forensic and Cyber Crimes Division of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. DSP Williams, welcome to Get the Facts.
Thank you for having me.
This is an issue which the Jamaica Constabulary Force has been very, vocal about misinformation and fake news. Well, given the issue of the digital landscape that we are now in, how has fake news evolved over the years, and what is it that, are we able, more specifically the JCF, able to prevent that from happening?
A very good question. And as we look at the digital landscape, not only in Jamaica, but globally, we realize and recognize that over the years, there has been a significant and exponential growth. So the more the world becomes digitized and the more technologies available and variations in terms of how we communicate, users tend to use these platforms to, promulgate and, of course, send things that are false and fake. And, of course, it can become dangerous and detrimental to the wider public and society.
Yeah. I want to talk us more specifically about the techniques and the methods that people use to just disseminate fake news.
In terms of methodology, they tend to utilize platforms which are free, the social media platforms, the emails, and of course, in terms of techniques, they tend to put you in that sort of fear. And of course, things that, are false in the sense that they're deceptive for you to think that it is true. Then they use methodologies like phishing, sending out phishing email or any information that will, pull information from you, but indeed it is fake, or voice notes, which is vishing, or send you a text message, which is smishing. So those are some of the methodologies that is being employed now. And of course, yeah, it is something that continues to create some sort of challenges.
Right. When we talk about the impact that fake news really have on the opinion of society and perhaps the safety of people within society, I want you to delve a little bit in terms of any examples that you can use where that fake news has been used to, sway how people think and,
right.
Impact individuals in a negative way.
Well, let me not get onto the political side of things,
Yes.
but look at the general society. And in 2015, there has been an incident where someone sent a fake news that there is a bomb on an American airline. The 2 international airports were shut down for 3 days. Billions of dollars was lost. There is the most recent fake news in terms of bomb threats, maybe a month or two ago, where it disrupted a lot of operation. It has been sent to public and private schools, even revenue-generating areas such as the wharf. So it can have a very serious implication and disruption, and the resources that has to be employed when these type of fake news come about is quite something that we have to be concerned about.
Yes, something that is your concern about. So specifically
correct.
talk about your division's role
Yes.
in combating this very serious issue that is plaguing society.
Right, so the Jamaica Constabulary Force is there to serve, protect, and to reassure the general citizenry, not only of Jamaica, but provide that support, on an international front. So the body is there to investigate. So once it has been reported or has surfaced, investigation kicks in, and then of course we do public awareness and education, to ensure that persons do not become alarmed, or of course, anything that may cause some sort of, panic within the society. Mm-hmm. So the key thing is to investigate and to ensure that we, let the public be aware of what is happening, and of course educate them such that they know that, listen, this is fake, so continue with your life.
It's interesting that you say that. I have to plug this in though, DSP, because how effective is public education with regards to, fake news or misinformation or disinformation?
We have a tagline: the more we educate, the less need to investigate. So it is very effective, because what you don't know won't hurt you. But of course, what you know will make you become more aware or conscious of what is happening out there. So it's quite critical that we partner with different agencies from government level and also from a private level, and institutions locally and internationally, that we constantly, educate the public as to things that may happen. So it's a sort of proactive rather than being reactive.
And an ongoing process.
And an ongoing process.
Yes. I mean, during your investigation, you are able to differentiate between what is fake and what is real.
Yes.
Talk to us about that process.
All right. So in the digital realm of things, this is what we call, there's always what we call as a digital footprint. So everything that you do online, you may think you can do it and get away, but there is a footprint. May take sometimes a little longer to investigate, but rest assured that the perpetrators will be found. And that is one of our main strategy in terms of determining if it's fake or not. And more so, we have to find the source. Is the source authentic? Then we verify this by partnering with other agencies to assist us to alleviate that sort of, trying to find out what is happening.
Right. On that note, we're going to be taking a break. We'll continue the discussion on identifying fake news and its consequences when we return.
we are hoping that the time will come to be able to track these calls.
Hello, the house are burned down.
And punish those who are doing this.
All too frequently, a unit is unavailable for an actual fire emergency, merely because it is responding to a false alarm.
And it results in most instances to a waste of resources that could be used for more productive purposes. So I want to encourage members of the public to desist from this practice. We tend to see a spike in false alarm calls during the summer when the kids are home. Because they are home, they have their cell phone, and they see it as fun to dial whether 110 or 119 to say that there's a fire somewhere. So I want to encourage parents to pay attention to that as well.
Welcome back to Get the Facts. Still here with us is DSP Warren Williams, Deputy Head of the Communication, Forensic and Cyber Crimes Division of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, and we are talking about fake news. DSP, people believe that there are no implications. It's okay to spread the news, no matter what it is. They don't need to verify the information. They get something, they run with it. Talk to us about the kind of legal implications that this have, and especially if it causes some kind of harm or panic.
We spoke earlier about educating the public,
Yes.
and this is part of the journey of the JCF to let persons know that if you do things like these, there are legal implications. So the Cybercrime Act of 2015 is there as the tool that can be used by the JCF to apply if someone, and enforce if someone, carry out such an act. And the law, especially Provision 9 of the Cybercrime Act of 2015, which is now being revised, is that if you use your computer, your smartphone is a computer, your tablet is a computer, all of these digital resources are computers. So the law says, Provision 9, if you use your computer for malicious communication, anything that is threatening, anything that is obscene, or anything that is menacing, it's a criminal offense. And of course, the penalties can be significantly severe depending on the level of court that it is tried. If it's a parish court, it can be between $1 million or 10 years in prison, or if it's in the higher court, it can be up to $20 million and 20 years in prison.
Okay. You mentioned, before we went to the break, you mentioned a very critical word, footprint.
Right.
And it doesn't matter who uses it, when you use it, or where you use it, there's a footprint.
Correct.
So talk to us now about the importance of technology in your efforts to trace the origin of the fake news.
I won't get into the technicalities of it because we do not want to give away our craft.
Yes,
we
indeed.
do, but as I said, there is a digital footprint, there is IP addresses, there's an address to the devices that you use, and most importantly, we partner with our international partners, so we can pull from a wider pool of resources, and it eliminates all the red tape. There are point of contact persons. So let's say an IP address is your footprint and it points inside or outside of Jamaica. Of course, that can lead you to the creator on where that fake news originated. But there are other means that I won't discuss, but just rest assured that nothing at all that you do in the digital realm of things, there is absolutely a footprint that is left, and that footprint can lead you back to the perpetrators.
Yes, and given the sensitive nature of the issue, how important is collaboration in terms of with other agencies as you deal with this?
Critically important, because Jamaica does not have all the resources. We have a cadre of personnel who are trained and certified to do investigations of this type of caliber. But of course, sometimes the origin of the offender can be outside of Jamaica, and we need other technical resources and expertise. So Jamaica is a part of what we call a 24/7 network, which encompasses over 86 other countries. So we can pull from these resources such that they can assist us in locating and identifying. Say, for example, social media platforms. A lot of those do not base in Jamaica, so they are outside of Jamaica in the US. So say, for example, a report is made of a fake news being posted, say, for example, IG, we can have that direct contact to our partners within the US who can provide subscriber details and other information that will assist the investigation. So it's very important.
And any other culture.
In any other country.
Yes, absolutely. Now, the important issue is to verify the information that you see or that you hear. We don't like to verify information. So what advice would you give to the general public as to how they need to go about verifying information that they see online?
So another thing in the digital world, and from a forensic standpoint where we sit, we always say, do not trust, always verify. So you get a phishing email, you get a voice note, you get a text message, say, hey, we're upgrading our system now, you need to provide your username and password. And that's coming from a financial institution. Okay, I got this, so guess what? I'm going to call the institution and verify that this message is authentic. So the underlying word is never trust. Yes, you use your technology to assist you, to make life easier, but never trust, especially in this day and age where we have digital verification such as AI and stuff like that. You can easily be swayed to do things that is not within your favor.
And people are very creative in sending out information that seem very, very authentic.
That is so.
So again, verification is extremely important.
Important.
Any other final words that you'd like to share with us?
I want to say, be careful of how you share personal and sensitive information. Very, very critical, because perpetrators can use this to your detriment. It's important. We use different level of security. Say some institution may use multi-factor, different layers of security. Of course, we cannot overly emphasize the importance of never trust, always verify. You get a text message, you get a voice note, make a call, make some contact with the source to make sure that this is authentic.
And again, having this conversation with you is another way of the JCF and the Jamaica Information Service ensuring that they continue the public education. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We've just had a very informative discussion with DSP Warren Williams, Deputy Head of the Communication, Forensic and Cyber Crimes Division of the Jamaica Constabulary Force. We thank him and we thank you, our viewers, for staying with us on Get the Facts this week. Until next time, I'm Adrian Atkinson. Pleasant viewing.
You know the adage, water is life? Rightly stated, as it supports all living beings. But with the passing of a hurricane, supply may be compromised and properly stored water could just become our lifeline. Step 1. It is best to use food-grade containers to store water. This means that the material used is fit for human consumption and won't have toxic substances entering your water. Step 2. Be sure to wash and rinse the container thoroughly in preparation for water storage. Step 3. After filling the container, be sure to seal it tightly. If it has a screw-on cap, ensure it's tightly closed. This will prevent contamination. Step 4. Also, to prevent contamination, store water in a cool, dark place. This is to minimize exposure to temperature fluctuations, which can degrade the quality of the water and the container. Step 5. Replace stored water frequently to ensure freshness. You may use older water for non-drinking purposes. Step 6. Additionally, You may want to label the containers with the date of storage. This will help you keep track of how long the water has been stored. Step 7. Drinking water containing bacteria and viruses can lead to serious health issues and diseases such as diarrhea, cholera, or dysentery. If you're in doubt as to the state of your drinking water, you may want to apply water purification methods such as boiling to get rid of any bacteria. Step 8. Finally, going back to point number 1, do not store water in containers that have been used for chemicals or substances that can leach into the water and your system. Ensure that your stored water remains safe and drinkable. Protect your water, and it will protect you.
Prostate cancer affects men all over the world, and in Jamaica in particular, the disease is aided by the stigma and the fear associated with screening and knowing. Luckily, the good doctor is here to shed some light on the matter. Let's check in with her.
So prostate cancer is a malignancy of the prostate gland, and by malignancy I mean a cancer. And this is where you have cells that are disorganized, unruly. They don't follow the normal rules and processes of cell life and cell death. So every organ and structure in our body has to follow rules determined by genes where cells grow and cells die. But in this particular cancer, they don't follow the rules, and it happens to occur in the prostate gland.
Prostate cancer is the most common cancer in Jamaica. As it relates to cancers overall, it is the most common for men and women combined, and the most common for cancer-related deaths in men.
So it's mostly common in the aging male. We tend to screen at age 40 in this country because our men are high risk. Around the world, black men are the highest risk groups. So if you look in the US database, the highest prevalence rates are seen in blacks, and it's just not in the US alone. Even in the UK, any country where there's a melting pot of different racial groups, blacks are highest risk. And I believe in our country, our statistics suggest that the highest prevalence rate is in the 70 to 79 age group band.
So what is it that is responsible for this malignancy?
Genetics. There are some diseases that tend to be seen in some racial groups versus others, right? And whereas prostate cancer is seen all over, you know, white men get prostate cancer, Chinese men get prostate cancer as much as black men. However, the risk is higher. It appears to be more biologically aggressive in black men, and that would just be related to genes. Prostate cancer, still controversial, still investigational, whether lifestyle can prevent prostate cancer. What has the data shown? The data has shown that men who have a generally inactive lifestyle, who have an unhealthy diet, lots of fatty food, lots of processed food, not enough fruits and vegetables, may be at slightly higher risk. And therefore it is suggested that perhaps a lifestyle where one exercises a lot, eats healthier food, has a lot of these cruciferous vegetables, cauliflower, broccoli, cabbage, you know, even at one point in time, lycopenes that are found in tomato, they were the thing. Then these men would have a lower risk of getting prostate cancer. And several trials were done to see if you could prevent prostate cancer. However, there can't be any harm in exercising and eating healthy. So we encourage our patients to do so. How do we know someone has prostate cancer? We recommend that diagnosis must be done through screening. And screening means detecting the disease before you have symptoms. So the screening test for prostate cancer, a blood test and a physical exam where we feel the prostate gland. And we can feel it by inserting a finger in the rectum and simply running our hands over the surface to feel for any abnormalities. Surely the blood test is more sensitive at detecting the malignancy, and the blood test is not diagnostic, but what it suggests is that if the levels are elevated, we should go on to confirmatory tests.
This conformity test is dreaded by many men in society and causes them to become apprehensive at the thought of visiting the doctor. But what does the good doctor do?
Listen, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. If a man decides to come into my office and says, Doc, I'm not going to allow you to do my rectal exam, I just want the blood test, he's going to have the blood test done because he's there. And the blood test by far is more superior or sensitive to the rectal exam. I let you know I would really prefer to do the physical exam as well, but I'm not going to let him go because he refused to do the physical exam.
Fears alleviated. So if you are a man of 40 years and older, you should be going to get your prostates evaluated. The earlier the better, because if a man starts showing symptoms of prostate cancer, it is usually at an advanced stage.
So let's talk about early stage prostate cancer that is localized to the prostate and has not gone outside. It can be cured. So men can be cured of prostate cancer. Men have been cured of prostate cancer, either through surgery, where we as urologists remove that prostate, or through radiation, where radiation oncologists apply energy to the prostate over a period of time to kill prostate cells essentially. And those two methods are standard of care for cure. Does everybody who have prostate cancer need to have intervention with surgery or radiation? No. Some men who have innocuous or indolent disease, that means it was just incidentally discovered, but it will never cause any problems. And those men can have it watched. And we call that active surveillance, where we're actively monitoring them, where we're actively checking their PSA every 3 months, where we may decide to intervene if it's not quite behaving like low risk or innocuous cancer. And those men can be spared intervention or potential complications of intervention. But if the disease is thought to be significant, and this will be based on a clinical data that we have, then it can be cured, but usually cured is if the prostate cancer is localized to the prostate, if at all maybe going just a little outside. If there is spread to distant areas, to the bone, to the spine, to other organs, we cannot offer cure. However, we can offer hormonal therapy, which helps suppress the cancer, and it can remain suppressed for a very, very long time. And this suppression is offered in the form of what we call androgens, androgen blockers. They may be availed through traditionally removing the testes, done much less than before, or medications, tablets that are taken, or chiefly through injectables that are given every 3 months. Chemotherapy can be offered in the early stage for prostate cancer, combined with hormones, and you find that you have a longer period of response to treatment. My message to men regarding prostate cancer and prostate screening: come in and get your checks done. The test, the physical exam, is not painful. It is brief, it takes 5 minutes, and it's a simple and quick test to do. But if there is even a challenge, know that the blood test is far more sensitive in detecting abnormality. We need to save our lives. We need our men for our country. Come in and get tested.
I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. An apt quote there from Mr. Mandela, considering our last feature, but also applicable throughout this journey we call life. And with that, we have come to the end of today's show. To catch a repeat of this or any other, feel free to log on to our website at www.jis.gov.jm. Until next time, I'm Theodore Henry. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.